Kenyan woman Margaret Nduta sentenced to death in Vietnam for drug trafficking. Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, March 16, 2025. Margaret Nduta Macharia, a 37-year-old Kenyan woman, has been sentenced to death in Vietnam after being convicted of drug trafficking. The verdict was delivered on March 6, 2025, by a court in Ho Chi Minh City, which found her guilty of smuggling over 2 kilograms of cocaine through Tan Son International Airport in July 2023. Vietnam is known for its strict drug laws, where anyone caught with more than 600 grams of heroin or cocaine can face the death penalty. The country has executed multiple foreign nationals in the past for similar crimes, and experts say it has one of the harshest anti-drug policies in the world. Arrest and trial. Nduta was arrested in July 2023 while attempting to transit through Vietnam on her way to Laos. Authorities found over 2 kilograms of cocaine hidden in her luggage during a security check. She was immediately taken into custody and later charged with drug trafficking, a capital offense under Vietnamese law. During the trial, Nduta pleaded not guilty, claiming she had no knowledge that she was carrying drugs. According to her testimony, a Kenyan acquaintance named John had given her the package and assured her it contained documents. In return, she was promised $1,300 and free travel expenses. However, prosecutors dismissed her defense, arguing that she was aware of the package's contents. They presented evidence, including communications between Nduta and her alleged accomplice, suggesting that she may have been involved in drug trafficking for a longer period. Despite her plea for leniency, the court ruled that the evidence against her was overwhelming. The judge stated that drug trafficking posed a serious threat to Vietnamese society, and harsh punishments were necessary to deter similar crimes. Family's reaction and diplomatic intervention. Nduta's family, who live in Nairobi, Kenya, have expressed shock and devastation over the ruling. Her mother, Purity Wangui, has made multiple appeals to the Kenyan government, urging them to intervene and seek clemency on humanitarian grounds. The Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs has since stepped in, engaging with Vietnamese officials to explore diplomatic solutions. Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korea Singoi recently held a phone conversation with Vietnamese Deputy Foreign Minister Nguyen Minh Hang, requesting that Nduta's execution be halted. However, analysts argue that Vietnam rarely grants clemency in drug-related cases. The country has no extradition treaty with Kenya, which limits the possibility of Nduta being transferred back home to serve a prison sentence, instead of facing execution. Legal and human rights implications. Human rights organizations have criticized Vietnam's harsh stance on drug offenses, arguing that many suspects, especially foreigners, do not always receive fair trials. Groups such as Amnesty International have called for greater transparency in such cases and alternatives to the death penalty. In 2023, Vietnam executed at least 102 individuals for drug offenses, making it one of the top 5 executioners in the world. Many legal experts believe that capital punishment does little to deter drug trafficking, as most offenders are low-level couriers rather than major traffickers. Public outcry and uncertain future. The news of Nduta's death sentence has sparked widespread debate in Kenya, with many citizens demanding that the government do more to protect Kenyans abroad. Social media platforms have been flooded with calls to #SaveNduta, urging diplomatic efforts to intensify. Despite these efforts, the Vietnamese government remains firm in its decision. Sources within the Kenyan Foreign Affairs Ministry have admitted that time is running out and diplomatic options are limited. As it stands, Nduta is scheduled for execution on March 17, 2025. At 8:30 p.m. Vietnam time, if no last-minute intervention is successful. She will become the first Kenyan to be executed in Vietnam for drug-related charges. Her family continues to hope for a miracle, while international rights groups push for a review of her case. However, with Vietnam's history of strict enforcement, the likelihood of her death sentence being overturned remains slim.